Welcome to the Grassroots Army Podcast. This platform is for common sense people looking for up-to-date, accurate, and truthful information without the hot garbage corporate media bias. The power of one can lead to the power of many. You never know what small act that you may say or do that may literally change the lives of millions tomorrow. And don't you ever think that you can't make a difference, because you can. Good morning, my fellow Michiganders. Good morning, my fellow Americans. Welcome to the Grassroots Army Podcast. I'm your host, of course, Garrett Soldano, and I tell you what, driving into work today, did that sunrise just look just a little bit more beautiful? It truly did. I've been smiling ear to ear over the past 48 hours as I've been going into my rooms, adjusting my patients. And every time I go and see him, I go in there with a big smile on my face and I say, President Trump is your president. So it's been good. All right. It's good. So we all celebrated it. It's been fantastic. But I told you all time and time again, the 24-hour rule. I allowed this one to be the 48-hour rule because it was so epic, so fantastic, that I think we needed a little bit more time to celebrate, because a lot of us really hammered down and been hammering down over the past 5 years. And so I took that celebration for one more 24 hours. But then I told you again, you're just not going to pick your ball up and go home. Our work's not done. I had prepped you guys all for this time and time again over the past several months, like when President Trump wins and we win up and down the ticket and the red tsunami happens. We have to continue to hammer down. We have a lot of work to do. It has just begun. We have a decade. Let me repeat this. We have a decade of hard work that we're going to have to do. Folks, we are in this position, in this situation, and we were this close from losing this little idea called America. I mean, really close. And so we have to make sure that this never, ever happens again. So we are going to break down some things today. We're going to talk about the 2020 election too, because I'm not going to let that go, especially with the chart that's been floating around out there. Where has that 16 million votes gone that supposedly voted for President Biden back in 2020? We're going to talk about that. Okay. I know there are still votes coming in. There are still states that have people coming in, but they're not going to be able to push out the 16 million votes that are supposedly missing right now. So we're going to get into that here in a second. However, President Trump, it's all over social media. I want to push this out. This is his plan to dismantle the deep state. It is a very powerful video, and this is everything that we have been waiting for as we the people. So listen into this. This is pretty powerful, and share this video.
Plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all, and corruption it is. First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively. Second, we will clean out all of the corrupt actors in our national security and intelligence apparatus, and there are plenty of them. The departments and agencies that have been weaponized will be completely overhauled so that faceless bureaucrats will never again be able to target and persecute conservatives, Christians, or the left's political enemies, which they're doing now at a level that nobody can believe even possible. Third, we will totally reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt that the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to in warrant applications. So many judges have seen so many applications that they know were wrong, or at least they must have known. They do nothing about it. They're lied to. Fourth, to expose the hoaxes and abuses of power that have been tearing our country apart, we will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption, and there are plenty of them. Fifth, we will launch a major crackdown on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately weave false narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. When possible, we will press criminal charges. Sixth, we will make every Inspector General's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee, so they do not become the protectors of the deep state. Seventh, I will ask Congress to establish an independent auditing system to continually monitor our intelligence agencies to ensure they are not spying on our citizens or running disinformation campaigns against the American people, or that they are not spying on someone's campaign like they spied on my campaign. Eighth, we will continue the effort launched by the Trump administration to move parts of the sprawling federal bureaucracy to new locations outside the Washington swamp. Just as I moved the Bureau of Land Management to Colorado, as many as 100,000 government positions could be moved out, and I mean immediately, of Washington to places filled with patriots who love America, and they really do love America. Ninth, I will work to ban federal bureaucrats from taking jobs at the companies they deal with and that they regulate. So they deal with these companies and they regulate these companies, and then they want to take jobs from these companies. Doesn't work that way. Such a public display cannot go on, and it's taking place all the time, like with Big Pharma. Finally, I will push a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. This is how I will shatter the deep state and restore government that is controlled by the people and for the people. Thank you very much. Deep state, deep state.
I'm not voting for politicians who support rioting and looting, but believe that they have the authority to shut down the church and tell us that we can't worship. I'm not voting for politicians who believe in Black Lives Matter, except for when they're in the womb. I'm not voting for politicians who want to put a drag queen in every school because they're fun. I'm not voting for politicians who believe that men can birth babies. I'm not voting for politicians who believe that critical race theory, diversity, equity, inclusion, and sexual and gender theory should be taught in our schools. I'm not voting for politicians who support the idea that a biological man can use a girl's bathroom in schools. I'm not voting for a politician who supports mandates. I'm not voting for a politician who believes that everyone else's borders are more important than protecting ours. I'm not voting for politicians who support biological men competing in women's sports. I'm not voting for politicians who continue to divide us by calling us radical right extremists, homophobic, transphobic, and racist. And any doctor who performs gender reassignment surgery in minors, especially without parental consent, you should not be celebrated. You should be arrested. We are no longer going to be sitting on the sidelines. We are not going to go quietly into the night. We are not going to vanish without a fight. We are a part of something bigger than self now. We are a part of this grassroots army. And we're inspired, we're activated, and we're motivated. And we're no longer holding the line. We're taking back lost ground. And we are going to take not only our states back, but our country back in 2024. The red tsunami is upon us. Get your boat. All right. Now, to let you all know, I'm hoping my mic is working because I got disconnected there for a second. So can you all hear me? Somebody comment if you can. I'm going to check on my phone here just in case. If you can hear me, we can move on. And let's see. I got my phone up. Oh, it works. All right, good. I'm back. My camera's been getting disconnected lately, so I've been struggling with that, but I had to use my other camera. However, that video that I showed you prematurely because my camera got disconnected, that was from November 5th, 2022. Okay. November 5th, 2022. That's when that video was taking place, when we were fighting back to take back the state of Michigan. And it's funny, I wanted to show that. Somebody shared that on our Grassroots Army group this morning. I started smiling because everything that I was talking about in that video 2 years ago, those were hot ticket items. Like those were talking points for this election that I really believe that the majority of Americans really cared about: immigration, boys and girls locker rooms and restrooms, and men competing in women's sports, and, not being tough on crime, all these kitchen table issues that the majority of Americans just were fed up with not being able to have our elected officials take care of them. So I wanted to show that to remind you what we have been fighting for, number one, but number two is what we, the people, can accomplish when all of us come together. I see the logo, and come together with a like-minded goal and vision. All right. So that's why this is a call out to my Grassroots Army, for all of those of you out there that are watching that worked on my campaign. One thing about our campaign for our run for governor a couple years ago, actually, I think we started it 3 years ago for the 2022 election, we were able to put together not only an impressive ground game, but also impressive fundraising. We had some self-funders and stuff in the race, but we pretty much out fundraised every single person in the primary. All right. If you added them all together, I mean, we raised over $2 million. 96% of that was under the amount of $200. So it was very impressive. And our ground game of Grassroots Army warriors, our county captains, man, you guys all played a just instrumental role in that ability to not only get our signatures handed in, but our fundraising and everything else. And you guys, a lot of you out there, you know who you are. You guys went and joined Turning Point Action. You went and joined Trump Force 47, and you guys all played a pivotal role in not only President Trump winning, but winning in the state of Michigan. Okay. And winning up and down the ticket. So you guys are the reason why we're in this thing. And that's why you can't just take your ball up and go home. The Democrats are not going to just go quietly into the night. They are going to regroup. They're probably going to do a little soul searching and realize that their messaging obviously sucked because the majority of Americans were not enjoying and buying into what they were shoveling down our throats. So we have to make sure that we go on the offensive now. I am not going to let up on this radical religious cult, this LGBTQ plus community. It's not the old LGBT community. You talk to any gay American, they will admit, even Gays Against Groomers have talked about this a lot, that their movement was hijacked. Initially this movement was created. They just wanted to express themselves and be left alone. And guess what? This is America, and they have every right to decide who they want to be with. I don't care, and the majority of Americans don't care. There's some people out there that may, that's true, but the majority of Americans do not care. And holy cow, do you have a home in the Republican Party? You truly do. If you're gay, if you're trans, you have a home. You really do. This is America. You can be whatever you want. You can be with whoever you want, and you have a home in the Republican Party, no matter what the left continue to portray us, because it's not true. We don't care. But here's where we do care. When you are indoctrinating our children in the public school system, that is a no-no. We care about boys using girls' locker rooms and restrooms. That's a no-no. We care about men competing in women's sports. That's a no-no. We care about these so-called doctors. You all should be losing your license right now, who are chemically castrating these kids and mutilating their bodies because these kids think they're a different gender because you confuse the hell out of them. And if you're a parent out there and you're allowing this to happen, shame on you. Holy cow, it's garbage. And these doctors who are doing those types of surgeries, especially to very, very young children, you should lose your license and you should go into jail. It's garbage. If you're 18, if you want to switch your gender, by all means, you go ahead and do it. I don't care. But when you're chemically castrating these kids and giving them puberty blockers and mutilating their bodies, Unacceptable, horrible. I'm not going to stand for it. The majority of Americans aren't going to stand for it. And you parents out there who are feeling very virtuous, and no, I'm sorry, it's wrong. You guys know me. When I believe in something and I believe that I'm right and something's wrong, I'm going to stand up, and I will always stand up for the people who can't stand for themselves. So if you're going to do that garbage, hell no. Not appropriate, not right. It is wrong on so many levels. And look, if you want to call someone homophobic, right? Because that's what they label us Republicans. You guys are all homophobic. Look in the mirror. You are telling these poor kids, these boys and girls, that it's okay to be another gender instead of allowing them to transition, getting them the help, getting them the therapist, and talking and having an open line of communication with them. The majority of these kids, guess what? They end up being gay. That's it. And they're okay with it. And guess what? The majority of Americans are okay with it. But you're trying to confuse these kids and get them to change their gender. Why don't you just allow them to figure themselves out and help them along the way and support them? And guess what? The majority of them end up saying, hey, I'm gay. And guess what? The majority of Americans are okay with that. We're not living in the 80s anymore. We have evolved as a society. So if you're gay, if you're trans, you are welcome. You are welcome in our party. You truly are. If you want to put America first and you want to do common sense things and you want to protect children, you are welcome in this party. But if you're going to start doing the hot garbage of the other side, you're not welcome. Move on by, because we're not going to stand for it anymore. And these public schools, y'all notice, I know there's some public schools out there who still have a Democrat majority who are pushing this garbage, but your time is coming. Your time is coming. You will be held accountable, okay? And speaking of accountability, I'm on a roll this morning, baby. Let's talk about the 2020 election. Supposedly, the 16 million or 13 million, whatever it is, I don't care. It's over 10 million. Where did these people go? They voted for Biden in 2020. Where the hell did they go? Folks, there has to be accountability for the garbage that they did in 2020. A lot of people just want to move on. It's okay. We're just sweep. No, we can't let that be swept underneath the rug. There has to be investigations. There's got to be committees. We got to find out what happened to make sure it never happens again. That's truth. Even Democrats are scratching their head right now. Y'all have conversations with them and you ask that question, you show them that graph, right? Where it was pretty much like this in 2020, went way through the roof with the Democrats, and then we're back down to normal again. Where did that over 10 million votes come or go? They just vanish? Did the rapture happen? Did all those people just leave? Nope. Folks, they pulled off one of the greatest heists in the history of our species. Unless, hey, if I'm proven wrong and they do find those 10 million votes and they just stay, that's okay, fine. I will come on here and I will admit it. But right now, it's not making a lot of sense. And the folks who cheated and the folks who did that, that's called tyranny. That's called tyranny. You never, ever, ever mess with we the people's ability to put who we want in the office. Those people need to be investigated. If they're found guilty, they need to be tried, and the punishment should fit the crime. That's tyranny. That's tyranny. Unless I'm proven wrong, and I will come on here and I'll talk about it. And I'll say, yep, Garrett's going to eat some humble pie. But right now, it looks like all of us conspiracy theorists, again, we're proven right. We're proven right. Hot garbage on so many levels, okay? And it's interesting to watch the Democrats right now try to say a different narrative, like before even KJ or Karine Jean-Pierre, KJP, went on her little press conference yesterday, and the Fox News contributor, I forget her name, held her accountable for asking, hey, you know, Biden said that Trump was a danger to democracy, threat to democracy. Now you're changing the narrative that everything's going to be okay. And she was holding her accountable, and Karine Jean-Pierre kind of gave a little hissy fit, so condescending. God, I can't wait for that woman to be gone. And then she stormed off stage, right? Unbelievable what these people are willing to do and what they did. And so don't think they're just going to go silently into the night. They're going to regroup, and they're going to try to make President Trump's life a living hell like they did last time. Well, here's what we have on our side right now. We have the majority of Americans who are now awakened, which is fantastic. We have Elon Musk, who has bought Twitter. So we have a safe place as of right now for free speech. If you're not on X, get your butt over on X. It is a great, great platform right now. Even Facebook, I don't buy into it so much because Zuckerberg says he's a libertarian now. they're starting to get a little bit more lenient. Commie TikTok's hot garbage. That's still a hot garbage platform. However, in YouTube, hot garbage. We have Rumble, we have X, Facebook, you're on watch. Instagram, you're on watch. But get over on X. We're at Grassroots Army. Just look up Garrett Soldano. But here's my call to action to all my Grassroots Army folks who worked on my campaign. You got to get reactivated with me, okay? I'm going to give you the holidays off. I am. I got a big old marker board, like a coach. I'm a cool coach, unlike our Tim Waltz guy. I have a big marker board. I am going to start labeling every county in the state of Michigan, all 83 of them. I need county captains for every single county. All right. Now, if you don't have to tell me yet, but get a hold of me. That was on my campaign last time. If you want to be involved, what we're building here for the next big push, and that's in the state of Michigan, just message me, comment here. We're going to activate you when we find out who we're going to support. Okay. We don't even know who's running the gubernatorial race. I'm not. Let me make that perfectly clear. I'm not running in this cycle, this next cycle in 2026. Okay. God has me on a different path right now, and I think I'm better served as of right now in helping other people get elected. We really, really were able to go around the state of Michigan, getting everybody fired up and engaged for Trump Force 47 and Turning Point Action and everything else to get people engaged and activated. And I think that's what my role is right now, is to help other great candidates who are going to represent all of us, we the people, to get elected. So I'm going to be focusing that. So I'm building the Grassroots Army right now. And so in the description, there is a link to our Facebook group, the Grassroots Army. Okay. If you're not on that group, get on that group. There is 32,000. We added 2,000 people over the last 48 hours. It's growing again. People are engaged. Okay. There's 32,000 people. I want to continue to grow that. At one time, we had that Facebook group during the lockdowns up to 400,000. Michiganders Against Excessive Quarantine. Will we get that big? Probably not. But man, oh man, I would like to get 100,000 on that group. So if you're not on that group, get on. Have constructive conversation. I still got to, I know what Facebook's looking for and not, and you can't post certain things still. They still censor. They still delete people's comments if you put hate or anything on there. It's not us. It's just Facebook. But there are rules and stuff over there. But if you want to have constructive conversation, you want to be activated, you can obviously watch me if you're watching me on all my other platforms, but that Facebook group is growing and you can be a little bit more involved and you can post things on there and you can comment and stuff like that. So it's a growing and it's pretty cool Facebook group right now. So if you want to be a part of that, if you're on Facebook, go ahead, hit it, click on it, and then you can start posting in there. And then we're going to grow this thing. And then to all my county captains who were part of our campaign last time, I'm going to give you the holidays off. January 2025, it begins our push to take back the state of Michigan and get a great Secretary of State, because Jocelyn Benson is incompetent. Dana Nessel, the Attorney General's got to go. And obviously Governor Whitmer, they're all done. So we got to get good representation. I just saw on X that Mayor Dugan may be running on the Democrat side. Jocelyn Benson has been rumored. Dana Nessel has been rumored. Good old Petey Buttigieg has been rumored, but we'll deal with that. Okay. But here's what I'm looking for as a candidate, because I've been talking to people who may be running. Okay. Number one, we don't need a journalist. Number two, we don't need a social media influencer. All right. We need an executive. That is who I'm looking for. An executive with business experience. I don't want a politician. That's just me. That's just me. I don't want a politician. I want someone who's going to run this state like a business, who has experience with running a business. And there are a few candidates as of right now that I think that are going to run, that I've been talking to and that I like, but I need an executive. That's what I want. I want a business person to run the state, because I truly, truly believe in my heart and soul that Michigan should be leading the charge of this union. We should be the powerhouse of this nation. I'm biased because I love Michigan. I'm from Michigan. I live in Michigan. But I truly believe that. And I know everyone that's out there that's watching that lives in this state of Michigan or left for other states, freedom states during COVID, you're welcome back, because we're going to get it back. Come on back to Michigan. I might get Realtor of the Year. All right. So this is the call out to all my patriots who scooted out of here during the pandemic because we were locked down so bad. Come back. I want to get that award for Realtor of the Year, Garrett Soldano, for everybody moving back to the state of Michigan, right? But that is what we're going to do. And I'm going to find that person and I'm going to throw my 100% support And we don't need 15 people running like we did last time. And I was a part of that. I split up the ticket too. And that's why I'm not running. I'm going to put my ego aside, and I want to support the right person to get involved and to win this thing and win in the general. We need someone to win in the general. We need someone who's willing to get out there and do the work, do the common sense, follow the Constitution, all those great things that we know and love about the Republican Party. And we're going to see who that is. But I need to activate all of you because our butt is going to be on fire. We're going to get those signatures done. We're going to start raising money. We're going to start activating folks. My butt is literally going to be on fire as I go throughout the state of Michigan and firing up everybody over the next 2 years. I will live and sleep this thing. You know why I'm doing this? Not only because I love this country, and this is my way of serving this country because I never had the honor of putting on the uniform, and I love Michigan. But folks, if you've been following me for almost 5 years, I made a vow to you, and I take my vows very serious. I made a vow that I was not going to quit until I restored the checks and balances of our beloved state. And I thought that was going to happen with my run for governor. Unfortunately, we came up short. However, I'm not going to quit until that gets accomplished. I will live and breathe it. You guys know me. You know me by now. You know what I'm willing to do, and I'm going to do it, everything that I can. And I hope that you join me because it's about to get awesome. So the red tsunami has happened. Get your boat because the water's still here, baby. So we just have to continue to hammer down and get it done. Okay? So if you want to be a part of this thing, the first thing that you need to do is join the Facebook group, The Grassroots Army. The description, there's a link. Click on it. Join it. Post. Constructive conversation. All right. And there's rules of the group. And I'm going to post, there's a video that I posted on why people's posts get denied. I mean, there's so many different reasons why, it's if the post is not public, it won't show up, or if it's a repeat post, or if it's something that's going to get us kicked off because we're talking about something. I mean, obviously these things can't be on the group because it gets fact checked. So Facebook's not perfect right now. Trust me. But it is a great, great place as of right now to get us all together and then rock and roll. Obviously on Telegram and everything else, but a lot of people still don't utilize Telegram. We have a very small group on there called the Grassroots Army, I think. I'm not really active on it. It's called Grassroots Army. And if you don't see me posting on there, it's not our group, okay? You have to see me in there because I think there's a couple other groups that call themselves the Grassroots Army, and it's not my group, okay? So if you don't see me, it's not mine, all right? So that's all I got today. Continue to smile. Continue to hammer down. My goodness gracious. It's been a great week. But we can't give up. Can't quit. Continue to stay activated. Continue to stay motivated. Continue to stay inspired because we are just getting started. Let's hammer down. And for those of you who are my county captains, who are involved in my campaign, I'm coming for you because you're going to get reactivated again. And we're going to have a lot of fun just like we did last time. Okay? Have a great day, everyone. Love your family. Look at that beautiful sunrise. And I'll be deer hunting from here on out until I get my big old buck or big old doe. We'll see. I just want to fill my freezer. God bless you. God bless the state of Michigan. Of course, and always, God bless these United States. Guess what, folks? Donald Trump is your president.